Welcome back to the channel, guys. So I'm finally back. It's been a while. Of course, playing Harry as always, because it's what we like to do. We like to glutton for punishment. So we're playing 1,000 points today. Incursion. We're playing Crossfire from the Grand Tournament 2020 pack. Harry, do you want to go through what Crossfire is?
Yes, certainly. So I'll go through in more detail in a bit, but effectively we were running table quarters, and then there are special rules in this mission where if you control effectively the two quarters that you're not in, it makes life very difficult for the people who are in the centre.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. We're both playing Marines today before the new Codex drops. Well, I'm playing Astral Claws, so before the new Forge World book drops. Harry's got his beautiful painted Marines, his Ultramarines, because I like to ruin their beautifuln's when I can.
And to be fair, I haven't even played Marines 10 times at this point, so actually I want to get a little bit of value out of my many purchases of not only the Space Marine book but also the Ultramarine supplement as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I don't blame you. Cool, so we're going to move on to the armies now and we'll show you what we've brought today.
Alright then, so this is my 1,000 points of Ultramarines. Unfortunately, it's going to be pretty much the same list as last time because this is all the stuff I've got painted at the moment. So starting off in the HQ attachments, I'm running battalion today. So running a battalion today. So starting off, I've got my Primaris Captain. He's armed with his power sword and master-crafted auto bolt rifle. His Warlord trait today is going to be Master of Strategy, so that's a 6-inch. I can give a unit the Tactical Doctrine, which is Ultramarines, is what I want to do. I've also spent 1 CP to give him the Sanctic Halo, because free up invent and a free deny is... I didn't miss it against Toby's game with Drakari last time, but actually Psychic Denial is what this army lacks. Moving on next, I've got my Primaris Lieutenant. He has got the Bellicos bolt rifle, the 4-shot strength 5 relic auto bolt rifle. I've then spent a CP on Hero of the Chapter, and he's got Calm Under Fire, so that allows me to fall back. Well, it's another aura ability. I can fall back and shoot. And those units around me do not suffer the penalty of -1, which is cracking, really. Moving on into the troops of the battalion, I've got 2 identical Intercessor Squads. Both of those have got a Power Fist involved because I had some extra points kicking around, but it gives them a little bit of combat punch at the end. Then moving on to my final troops choice, I've got a squad of Infiltrators. Hopefully this time, because we're playing a mission that allows infiltration, they'll actually do something this game. Then moving on into elites, I've got my distraction card effects of the 3 aggressors. These guys, probably the most obnoxious thing on the list, and can hold their own in most situations. You bring the Iron Hands, so it's something. Then into fast attack, oddly, we have got my converted suppressor squads. So there's 2 squads of 3 there because for some reason they can't be taking the squad to more than 3. Each of them have got their grav shoots and their accelerator auto cannons. Then last but not least, in the dedicated transport section, I've got my converted up impulsor with the Bellicos missile array. So that will be transporting probably one of the Intercessor Squads around the table to get me some cheeky victory points. Alright then, so on to the Astral Claws.
Okay, so this is my Astral Claws posing, well, Iron Hands posing as Astral Claws. I'm running pure Iron Hands this bat rep, so not a successor chapter, so I'm not able to bring some of my big characters. So my HQ choices today are the Indominus Lieutenant. He is my Warlord, and he has got the Ironstone Relic just to protect my Dreadnoughts a bit more. Well, at least one of them, because I have got a bit of a fire base from one of them. The second HQ choice is my Primaris Librarian. He is not chaos in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what you're talking about. We still don't know what happened to that fleet that turned up. Well, didn't turn up. He has got the Size Steel armour and Blessings of the Machine God, just to give the extra blessings if I wanted to. I can give one of my Dreadnoughts +1 to hit and give them +1 save. Troops choices, as I'm running a patrol detachment, I have only got 2, so I've got 2 sets of identical intercessors, just bare bones, nothing great on the sergeant, so just all running bolt rifles just so they can try and mow down or try and just hold a point. Moving on to my heavy support choices. I've got my Eradicators, just because I do like using them. To be honest, they are pretty disgusting, and especially in Iron Hands, they'll probably be even more disgusting, because Iron Hands just like everything that has the word heavy in it. Then moving on to my elite choices, I've got a Dreadnought, which has got the twin autocannons, twin heavy bolters, and the missile array on top. So he is completely WYSIWYG. He is my main fire base, especially as Harry has a lot of jumpy dudes. It'll be good because they have the fly keyword, so I get to be even more disgusting with that. And then I have an Ironclad Dreadnought, just because you don't really see them much. He has got the Hurricane Bolter and then the Seismic Hammer, so if I decide to punch his Impulsor, it'll probably just blow up, but that could be a good laugh. And then I've got some Assault Marines. They are not Raptors, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. They are completely Assault Marines. They are WYSIWYG, so the Sergeant does have Twin Lightning Claws. Everyone else does have Chainswords and then Plasma Pistol on one dude. Just a bit of fast attack, just to counter how fast Harry can move around the board. I can counter that with how fast I can move with this group, and it'll probably be quite fun to watch them get into combat, see what happens. But yeah, that's my 1,000 points, and we're going to move on to deployment and see what's going on.
Crossfire is an incursion level mission from the Grand Tournament 2020 mission pack. The primary objective is Take and Hold. Score 5 victory points if you control 1 objective marker, score 5 more victory points if you control 2 or more objective markers, and finally score 5 victory points if you control more objectives than your opponent. This is to a maximum of 15 and cannot be scored in the first turn. The mission special rule is Crossfire. You ignore the benefits of cover when targeting an enemy unit within 9 inches of the centre of the battlefield, and you hold either both objective markers labelled A or both objective markers labelled B.
Alright then, so we are now fully deployed. So I've gone for a relatively cagey deployment because, Tom, your firepower can be obnoxious at the best of times.
Don't know what you're on about. I'm not Iron Hands.
So most of my stuff has hidden out the way because I wasn't sure where Tom was going to stick his stuff in the meantime. So secondaries wise, rather unimaginative, we've both gone for the same ones. So I've chosen Domination, so I've got to hold over half the number of objectives. So in this case, I need to hold 3 objectives and I get 3 points around. I've also gone for Razor Banners High, just because I could have maybe gone for Attrition, but the issue I've got is your Iron Hands are so durable that I can't guarantee that. I can maybe guarantee it first turn, but afterwards it's getting trickier. So Razor Banners High, at least it should be a consistent 5 points over the game. So makes relative sense in my mind. And then the last one I've gone for is Outflank. So that is the mission specific one from the Crossfire mission. I've got to hold both of the objectives not in our deployment zone and I get 3 points, but if I hold both of those and Tom has an enemy unit in the set 9 inches from the centre within 9 inches of the centre, I get 5 victory points. So there are definitely some benefits, and especially as I'm going for domination anyway, it made sense to me to go, might as well double down on those objectives. Tom, you've gone for the same ones.
Yeah, to be honest, looking at them, because it's Marines versus Marines, it just seems, and I'm a lot more durable. So I can sit on points. So raise the banners for me is kind of like a no-brainer because I'm a lot harder to get rid of a lot of the time. I've been a bit more aggressive in my deployment just because I know I have the firepower. If Harry steps out in the open, I'm probably going to melt whatever I'm looking at.
And also, we did consider doing grinding down for you, so it's not grinding down attrition, but same things, because it is Marines versus Marines. Pretty much at the bet probably a good rate would be slogging 1 unit for 1 unit, so you're not actually going to be getting those points very often.
No.
It just seemed more consistent to go for those minimum 5 ban points a turn.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and it means that my 2 Intercessor Squads, if I do want them just to sit there and try and just be annoying in the sense of getting through their armour save, then I feel no pain.
It can be done.
Yeah, I can outroll it with no problem at all. And I have done it in the past where I've had an Intercessor Squad literally take a beating and just not want to move. So, but yeah, so cool. So, we're going to roll off to see who's going first. And who is going to be...
So, I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 5. So, I will take first turn. Because every game of 9th I've played so far, I've always gone second. So I am going first. Cool. So we'll come back after movement and see what I've got up to. So we'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so end of my movement phase. I have been a little bit jammy. Moved this Intercessor Squad just normally, so they've just got behind a bit of cover, just to make sure they don't get sniped straight away. Got a good advance on these guys, so they were within 3 of the main objective, so they are holding that. I've also raised 1 banner over here, which has got thanks to my Ultramarines, they're just sticking back at the moment. Moved the Librarian and through the wall just so he can hide under here, and the Eradicators in the left hand move, and then the Dreo Dreadnought is just lined up. Pretty disgusting shot on the Ultramarines that you can see at the moment. So we're going to move into shooting. Actually no, Psychic, because I do have Psychic. So we'll see if I get my Psychic powers off first. So first Psychic power I'm going to try and use is Size Steel Armour, which has a warp charge of 6, which will give it's going on my Dreo Dreadnought just to give him +1. Oh yeah, 2 dice. Bit rusty.
You're not an astropath. You can do stuff on the 6.
Yeah, it gives me +1 to my armour save, which is quite good. It means if you do manage to crack some shots, he's going to be protected. So it goes off on a 6, which on a 4 it doesn't. I'm not going to re-roll that because it's not the end of the world. This is the big one, Blessings of the Machine God, which gives me +1 to hit. Which only goes off on a 5, which 7 it definitely goes off. So
I'm not going to be in range for my Sanctic Halo deny at this point. So
he has now got that, and it is the heavy phase because that's what Iron Hands love. So we're going to move into my shooting, and we'll come back after I've potentially obliterated something. Or not. Haven't rolled in a while. It could go horrible. So we'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so looking at it, the only thing that is going to get shot is these Ultramarines. If they somehow survive, everything else will just shoot at them as well, because I'm horrible. Because it's been a while since we used Iron Hands. I was going to spend the CP on Wisdom and the Ancients, but I get it for free. So I can just re-roll my failed hits. And my Lieutenant's within range, so I'm re-rolling to wound as well. Harry's popped Transhuman, which I don't blame him.
I think that was a smart move.
So he is now down to 2 CP. I'm still on 8 because I haven't spent anything yet. So I could have maybe redone the Psychic roll. But yeah, so using the autocannons first. So it is 8 shots going into them. Hitting on... You're going to hate me.
It's hit on 2s, isn't there?
Hits on 2s normally. I got +1.
It's hit on 2s.
So yeah, all hit.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry, bud. Then they are strength 8.
So wounding on 4s.
4s.
Which is transhuman.
Yep.
Smart move. Not that made much difference.
Not that made much difference, but I get to
We get to
reroll.
reroll the 1 because it. Yep.
Oh, jeez. So they are -2 because of heavy doctrine, and they are also 2 damage apiece.
7 in total.
So you need to make all of these. Well, 5 of them.
And it goes. That's not good. That's 1 live.
Okay.
Saying it's -2 because of the.
Yeah, -2, 2 damage apiece.
What other weapons have you got? You got heavy bolter.
Heavy bolter and missile launcher as well.
What else can see
These guys.
the advanced? So
They advance, so
it's just that then.
maybe one eradicator.
Well,
If you take them,
if we take him off.
yeah, if you take it sneakily, then yeah, that does eliminate the eradicator.
So I'm not going to spend CP just yet. So I will kill these 4. I'll leave Power Fist Sergeant like that. Cool.
Yeah, so heavy bolter is 6 shots. Reroll the 1s because it's a heavy or hit. Strength 5, toughness 4.
Falls to wound because of transhuman.
Falls because transhuman.
That's a bit better.
3 go through.
-2 again.
Yeah, -2.
Okay. No, he's dead.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's definitely dead. In terms of everything else, I can't see anything. We have double and triple checked everything just to make sure. But yeah, that's the end of my shooting phase because my missile launcher isn't like a whirlwind. I can't just fire at random stuff. I have to be able to see it. So that has given Harry a bit of a saving grace. So yeah, so moving on into Ultramarines turn 1 and see what the comeback is, because this is probably going to hurt me more than I hurt him.
Right then, so end of Ultramarines movement phase. So, little bit of a rules mistake on my end. I thought it was at the start of my turn. It was actually when the unit got destroyed. So I have spent 1 CP for Avenge the Fallen on my on the squad that the Intercessor Squad that's destroyed. So what that means is any unit that targets the Deredeo will always reroll a 1 to hit. So it's something nice and handy because I will have to shoot him at some point.
It's actually pretty damn decent stratagem because that's for
It's
the
solid
rest of the
stratagem.
game. So if you get in range, geez, he's gonna.
It just, ironically, for Ultramarines, well not ironically, but in running the theme, it gives them flexibility, which is what they're good for. I then gained a CP, so I was back onto 2 again, and spent another CP. So currently I'm on 1 CP at this point in time on squad doctrines for this this squad here. I did spend it because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. Actually, it doesn't make too much difference whatsoever, but I was originally going to have them jump over and do some bits and bobs, but actually I've kept them here, so they're fine. My captain put, so actually that's a waste of CP there, but oh well. Captain put his tactical doctrine on the squad that has moved, and lieutenant has moved up as well. Then the last 3 things that happened, the impulse has stayed where it is because, yes, alright, it's not doing much in terms of damage at the moment, but I want a fast reserve for just through the objective game. And then my infiltrators have shifted over to just so they are within 3 inches of the objective marker here, but out of line of sight of the eradicators, and have started to raise the banner in that, so that will get me a point next turn. And then the aggressors, once again, because I want them to be a counterpunch unit, I don't want them straight away. They're also raising the banners, and then just shift over the sergeant bit to be within 3 as well. So I've got 2 objectives raised up, ready to go. I've got no psychic because I don't deal with that heresy. On to shooting.
Cool. So we'll catch you guys in a second. Okay, so that was a very tough shooting phase for Harry. So he pretty much threw everything at these guys here. But I popped 3 CP straight up. So that leaves me on 5 at the moment. I did Reject the Flesh, Embrace the Machine, which puts Iron Hands on a 5-up Feel No Pain. I also used Transhuman Physiology just to make it even harder to kill them. And to be honest, it was the right decision. All the shots from the autocannons and everything else flew into them, killed a whole 2 dudes.
Yeah, so originally, I got 4 wounds with the autocannons through, and that was all well and good. Tom failed to save as normal, but it was in the 5-up Feel No Pain, because the first roll you did, Tom, you saved one of them.
Yep.
You then rolled double 6, so one guy took 3 shells to the face, and
just wouldn't go down.
No. Go fair, and it is fair enough. That's what Iron Hands do best. They do obnoxious amounts of firepower.
Yeah.
And durability. Is it the end of the world? I'm not sure just yet. It really need to just see where you're going to move out to next turn, and then I can start playing around and seeing what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting first turn. Both a bit cagey from us with Marines, just because we both know. We've both played Marines for a very long time, as you've probably seen on the channel. I've played Iron Hands during 8th and Blood Angels, so I do know the aggressive nature they can bring. And Harry with his Ultramarines, just dirty.
I bring them out every once in the blue moon.
Yeah. So I think we've been a bit cagey, because we know if we both stepped out, we would probably lose half our armies. So I think it's just going to be probably to the wire. Very much so. So we're just going to calculate points. So we'll tell you points at the beginning of my movement phase, and just let you know where we're at. Okay, so end of my command phase. Well, movement as well. So end of my command phase, I'm on 11 points, because I do hold a banner. I do hold 2 objectives as well, to Harry's banners and objectives, so he will probably catch me up this turn. So in terms of movement, I've been a little bit janky. I've moved this squad here a little bit more into the cover, just to make it a bit harder to hit them, but they did raise a banner, so I'm now holding 2 banners. I've also moved this squad into position just behind, so they will keep, because he's within 3 of this, so he's also scoring me that point as well, just in case the squad does go down. Even though I have got the CP to pull off what I did again last time, it will start costing me a lot to keep doing it.
It's not a long-term reliance.
Yeah, it's not a fully sustainable thing. Over here, my Assault Marines have moved up just to give a bit of support in the middle. So if I want to counter punch next turn, or just try and swarm something, I've moved the Ironclad into view of the suppressors over here, so we can shoot them with the Hurricane Bolters. They'll leave the Melters just out of range, but we will double check it. But he's within a 6-inch charge of the Infiltrators hiding around here, so I might be able to get a shot off, get a good charge, zip round, start punching people, and it may cause Harry to lose that banner down there, but see what happens. Back here, the Duodreo has moved up and can see the front suppressors as well, and the missiles can hit the guys behind them in cover. And I've moved my lieutenant down just so he's able to give buffing support, and the librarian stays still, but my eradicators have just shimmied up just so I'm still on that point as well, so I'm keeping a good amount of cover. So we're going to go into my shooting phase, and we'll come back after that, because there's quite a few things going on, and then we'll give you a little breakdown of what I got up to. Okay, that took a lot more shooting than I thought it would. So the Duodreo Dreadnought took a shot at the suppressors that were here, got them down to 1 wound remaining on the Sergeant, had to finish him off with the Ironclads, with the Hurricane Bolters. Missiles, unfortunately, did absolutely nothing to these guys. Yeah, it would have been sheer luck if I got through with that, to be honest. But with my Psychic phase, I only got Size Steel Armour off. I did try and re-roll on the Blessing of the Machine God, but it's just not to be this round. Apparently he only wants to cast 1 Psychic Power a turn. Bloody Harry Potterhead. Okay, so big moment. The Ironclad is going to charge the Infiltrators.
So getting around to there. It will be a 7-inch charge to get him in.
To get him in, so 7-inch charge. And because of the corner, no Overwatch. Which is quite nice.
To be honest, not had CP to do Overwatch anyway.
Yeah. So, here we go. Oh, jeez. Oh, he is wanting this fight. Jeez. Oh, God, I feel sorry for you.
We'll move him in and we'll come back with if there's anything left of the Ultramarines.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so, crunch time. We've gone through everything. It is a maximum of 5 attacks. I am hitting on 4s because technically it's like a thunder hammer. It's like a super duper thunder hammer. So it is ridiculous if you think about it. Because I'm hitting a strength 12
It's
minus 4, 5 damage.
And I don't have any transhuman to save me.
Yeah, so there's 5 guys, 5 attacks. This could make or break, or it's going to force me to have to fight twice. So, first round attacks, hitting on 4s. Ooh, 2 miss. Wounding you on 2s.
Yeah. These will be.
Ooh. 2 go through it. Minus 4, so 2
go splat.
Yeah, 2 splattered. Okay, you get to do your fight backs because it's the end of the phase that I have to choose to fight again.
So I can't actually pile any. So he's in rare, so I'll just pop those there. So I will get 3 attacks per regular guy and then 4 attacks for the sergeants. Stupid amount of attacks Marines get.
It's getting ridiculous nowadays.
So hitting on freeze. That's not a good roll. Actually, no, it's all right. Wounding on 6s because nothing say.
Yeah.
2 wounds.
2 wounds. Any minus on that, sir? No. So, loved it. All right.
Are you going to spend the CP to?
Yes, because I need to kill them because that takes away the banner and it gives me.
Primaries as
yeah.
well.
So, 5 attacks. Or does it drop to 4?
No, you still get shock assault.
Yeah. So.
You should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got them.
Yeah. Well, oof.
Just.
That was big.
And that destroys the banner.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna chill there for the rest of this turn. That's pretty big. So moving on to Harry's turn 2 with the Ultramarines and see what he can come back up with. To be honest, I'm a bit worried there are some aggressors that have big ass power fists which could just come running at me and be like, cool, yeah, let's scrap.
To be honest, I think that's going to have to be my play now.
Yeah.
I am on the back foot at this point.
Yeah, because if you don't kill him, I've got 3 shots at whatever I want, really.
Yeah.
So, interesting. Of course, we'll come back at Harry's turn 2 movement and let you know what he's come up with.
Right then, so it's really sort of quite tricky for me at this point now. I've got to really push out and maybe not the best tactical decision, but we're going to have to go with it. So starting off, I've got 1 CP and I've only got 6 points this turn because I only hold the 1 objective and I've got 1 banner point. So Tom is really sort of, if I don't get a grip of myself, I'm going to really start struggling. Moving on to the movement phase, the suppressors have jumped up into the cover, so I've got to start using them much more aggressively now, get a move on. The Impulsor, I've got to take a hit from the Eradicators anyway, so he's moved into the building so he can shoot out at the Ironclad with Bellicos, but then the Bolters can also see other targets as well in the ruins. The Aggressors have walked in through the building because I don't want to get the -2 from to charge from the obstacles, and we'll either probably try and gun down the Assault Marines and then go for a charge onto the Ironclad, because if I don't deal with that Dreadnought, it's game over pretty much. And then the 2 characters have shifted over, making sure that their bubbles are at least affecting some key units. Right then, that is the end of movement phase. I've got no psychic, so I'm shooting phase. Alright then, so end of shooting phase. I think it's gone relatively well in some places, but other places not so well. So starting off, the Lieutenant led by example, and with his Bellicos bolt rifle annihilated the squad of 3. So there is the one squad of Intercessors holding that objective at the back, but it does force him to stay there. Right? Tom can't be as mobile as he wanted to. The suppressors shot into the eradicators and only did 2 wounds to them, which wasn't great, but it's the start of something. The Impulsor chucked everything into Uraka as well, did absolutely diddly squat, and then the ludicrous amount of bolt rounds that come from the Aggressors took 2 wounds off that Ironclad, which I think will be key in the upcoming fight. So moving on into Assault phase, the Aggressors are going to go into the Ironclad. Do you want to spend CP to Overwatch?
I am going to spend the CP to Overwatch, so do you want to see if you...
Yeah, we'll roll charge and then we'll do damage off
because
to
it's a lot of shots.
6, that will get them in happily.
Cool. Yeah, we'll come back after my Overwatch.
Right then, so end of Assault phase for Ultramarines. It's not gone well. It's honestly not gone well. So I spent my last CP on Science Gilliman for the Aggressor squad, and they've reduced it. That should be 2 wounds. No, 3 wounds. Sorry, because got six damage through in total, which would have just killed it anyway. And then with the mixture of stratagems and just iron hands in general, you save half of them. So that thing's still alive and killed 3 of my aggressors.
You should definitely dunk it in some jam for being jammy. Definitely for that.
Then the Impulsor did nothing on the Assault Marines as expected, but it has tied them up. The Lightning Claws did though cause 2 wounds to it, so it's a bit give and take.
Yeah, it's forcing my hand next turn. Alright, so at the end of that, we're going to move on to 10-3 for the Astral Claws. This could be a big turn for me, because I could potentially push it to a higher pointage in terms of overall points at the end of next turn. So we'll see what jamminess I can come up with. So we'll catch you guys in a second. Alright, so at the beginning of my turn, I am on points wise.
Bear me 2 seconds.
While Harry's just bringing up my points to explain what I've done. So in terms of movement, I've fallen back with my Assault Marines up to here, just so they are now just covering the Dreadnought. So if he does die by some chance and the Captain comes running in, they're ready for him, just to pile back on that point. I've left the Impulsor out here because my Eradicators can deal with that. And I might just fire 1 Volkite, because I've never fired Volkite before and I really want to, and I love Volkite. It's the greatest weapon ever. Please do more. Please give us just a pure Volkite squad and I'll buy and just use all of that, even if it's crap. My Chidredos moved up here. I've gained 1 CP in my command phase, so I'm spending it going into the shooting phase for methodical firepower. Basically, allows me to put 1 unit into Devastator. I don't go back, just that 1 unit is counting as Devastator.
It's like the Ultramarines' squad doctrines, and that's how it is. We're reading it as
yeah.
the squad doctrine.
If it is wrong, let us know in the comments. But that's how we've read it. We've both agreed on it, so we're just gonna let it.
There will be some very dead.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna shoot the suppressors with everything I've got, because just yeah, and that would leave 2 characters and 1 squad of Intercessors if they jump out and survive. But then they're in firing line. There's a squad of Intercessors. Yeah, it's a bit of the writings on the wall here for Ultramarines. So we're going to go into my shooting phase, and then points wise.
Points wise, Tom, you hold 2 objectives, and you have 2 points there. So you are on a grand total of 29.
Nice. So yeah, slowly building them up. So yeah, go into my shooting. Go into shooting phase and see what is left afterwards, because it's going to be a pretty Horrible slaughter. So we'll see what is remaining. So we'll come back in a second. Well, kids. So you don't play with Volkite because it bites you. Biggest fluff in the world. I did a whole 2 wounds from Eradicators into an Impulsor, and on paper, that Impulsor should not be here.
No,
but my rolling decided to be like, nah, you know what, mate? Yeah, he'll go for another turn. Now I fired Volkite at it, and he just rolled double 1, because, you know, he just doesn't care. The only thing that did work was using my Stratagem over here, which actually did completely obliterate the suppressors. So that's gone. It's nice. Not too bad. Not the end of the world. Over here, in shooting, literally did nothing again.
So the Mist and Melticum, which is the one I was most scared of, and
Yeah.
then the Toughness 5 really kicked in there.
And made it quite nice for Harry. So, we'll get combat out of the way, and then we'll pop back, because that could be interesting. It could be minus a Dreadnought. So we'll see what happens. So we'll be back in a second. Whew, okay. Jeez. Managed to only shrug 1 wound, but Harry still got the 3 through. So it has killed my Ironclad. He didn't explode. That would have been funny, because I would just taken him with him, just to make everyone's day. In terms of the rest of the rounds, nothing else to charge, because my Assault Marines fell back. I'm not too scared about what's inside the Impulsor, because it's only 5 in... Okay, yeah, there is a Power Fist. But if you actually weigh it up, I've got 5 Intercessors, I've got my Lieutenant and my Wizard, so they jump out, I can smite, I can charge, I can have a good fist fight.
Interesting.
What happens.
In terms of victories, and just tossing them.
Yeah.
Because that Aggressor has survived, you don't get domination and you don't get the outflank secondary.
Okay.
So you're down, and so it does cost you 6 points. So at the end of this round, Tom, you're still on 29. Going on into my round, first round, I've got 1 point there, but I will get 10 points for holding 2 objectives this turn. So I'll have a bit of a think, we'll toss up the scores, and we'll come back to Ultramarines turn 3.
Yep.
Alright then, so turn 3 for the Ultramarines. I am going to be... Yes, I'm going to be staying in Tactical Doctrine this turn, just because I want to make sure that I bring in as much of the hurt as possible. Movement-wise, Lieutenant has shifted over as far still on the objective, but out the way as possible. The Captain has gone through the ruins, hopefully to gun down some of the Assault Marines and will charge them later. The Aggressor, I've probably done something very silly with, but if the plan works, it should go off. He has moved as far out line of sight of the Eradicators as possible and has raised a banner on that objective, because those Assault Marines are not within 3 inches of it at the moment, so you're not controlling it. Then at the front, the Impulsor has disgorged its cargo of regular Intercessors, and they are going to go and hit that disgusting position of just horridness. So probably kill a heretic and get rid of some melters.
There's no heretics here. I don't know what you're on about.
Because both of those units are really going to... Tom did whiff last turn, and I can't afford to...
Yeah.
I can't afford to let that happen again. And then lastly, the Impulsor has moved over so that it is on the objective at the moment, but the plan is to gun down as many of the Intercessors as possible, and then tie up the Derideo with just the bumper cars, really. Because if I can shut down shooting, it should it'll keep my Lieutenant alive for another round, and that's what I really need at this point. I just need to buy myself time.
Fair enough. Cool. So we're going to go into shooting for Ultramarines, and let's see if Harry can pull off his plan, or is he going to whiff it like I just did? And then that would be hilarious. No, I'm joking. Cool. So we'll catch you guys in a second, and we'll see what's going on. All right. So, Harry, how did that feel?
It didn't go as well as expected, honestly. Not great. So, Captain hit, but just failed to wound the Assault Marines. Excuse me. The Impulsor fired the Storm Bolters into the Intercessors and
Did one fat wound.
I then, just to reduce the firepower of the Eradicators, I did fire a crack missile into them, but Tom made his fight-up save. Then moving on, the Intercessors tried to gun down the Librarian, but Chaos Taint only meant that he took 2 wounds, so I'm going to have to go punch it in combat, which I don't really want to do. So, we'll then go on into charges then. So, starting off, the Intercessors are going to charge the just Librarian.
Okay.
Do you want to overwatch?
No.
So, a 10, that will get them in. We'll do movement in a sec. My captain is going to charge the Assault Marines.
And that I am going to overwatch.
You want to overwatch
because
that?
I do have a flamer in there.
Makes sense.
So I'll do the bolters first, which is just the 2. And
Okay.
I rolled double 6 apparently.
That's not going to happen. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
2 up save. Of course, I roll 1. So, that's not going to happen.
Then the plasma pistol, I'm not going to overcharge it. Misses.
Yep.
And then the flamer gets
5 shots.
5 shots, of course it does.
2 wounds.
2 wounds.
-1 because it's an assault weapon.
Ah.
So 3 up save. Okay.
Oh, he loves it. Oh, well, at least we took a wound off that.
And 5 will get him in.
Yeah, just.
And then the last thing it's going to do is the Impulsor is going to charge both the Intercessors and the Derrideo.
Okay.
On a 10, he is also getting in.
Cool. So we'll do the movement and combat, and then we'll come back and see what is left. Ooh, okay. So bit of a cheeky assault phase over here. The captain did dispatch 2 Assault Marines.
But then took 3 wounds.
Yeah, took a load of wounds back. Down here, the Impulsor Tokyo drift through a Marine.
And actually killed 1.
Yep, and then the Dreadnought and the Marines fought back and actually took 2 wounds off. Pretty good. Unfortunately, the non-heretical Librarian did pass away. He's now back with Slanesh, so he's happy.
We would have preferred to just gun him down, but sometimes you've got to get in combat.
Yeah.
Those Intercessors will be washing their hands afterwards.
And the Eradicators hit back and completely obliterated one guy and left 1-1 on a wound. So that's going to Astral Claws turn 4. So it will be an interesting turn to see what I can pull off. I do need to have a think. Because Harry has got me in a tough position. So we're going to have to see what I can do. So we will come back after my movement phase. Alright, so I've had to really think about this. Even though they're within, we have checked it, a 6-inch explosion range, that's if it blows up. But I have fallen them back, so next turn, if I need them to do anything, they can do. Because there's nothing threatening them in shot range. So the Intercessors should be alright. I've left the Dreadnought tagging because it will probably take a couple of wounds off. But I have thrown my Lieutenant over here because I'm in Assault Doctrine now. So he's actually quite dangerous. He's got a Power Sword, he gets 2 extra attacks.
And it's damage too as well.
Yeah. And he has major damage, so he will go flying in there. Especially with the Eradicators now buffed up as well. Hopefully I can kill all of them. Probably with it, but that's what happens. If I do, then the Eradicators are freed up for me to pull this back next turn, or Harry to run away with it if he decides to fall back. But it means that these guys can't be shot. Over here I've left the Assault Marines in combat, because if the captain decides that he wants to keep having a punching match, then one of us is going to die.
I'm about to say I'm more likely to die.
Yeah, and that means then I can run back with them and potentially go after the Lieutenant. There's no point me going after an aggressor. If I had all 5 of them, I probably would go after the aggressor, knowing that I have just probably enough attacks to just get through. But my lightning claws are now even more dangerous. So yeah, so there isn't any shooting this turn. So we're going to go straight into fighting. So we'll come back after the fights and let you know what's happened. Alright, so my whiff is the biggest thing that could have happened to this game all day. Because the current score is Astral Claws 35, Ultramarines 34.
Because I've managed to get... the Ultramarine Sergeant who survived the Lieutenant going in was still holding that objective at the end because he's a troops choice. That meant I was able to capture 15 victory points at the start of my command phase, which has really saved me. I then got 2 points for raising the banners, so that's put me nicely on to 34 points. Looking now at sort of ideas, I've got 1 CP left, so I've got a bit of something I can do, but we'll go to that. In terms of movement, Captain has swapped with the Aggressor. Captain's now out of line of sight and holding that objective, because unfortunately with 2 wounds remaining he can't really survive in combat much. The Aggressor...
Especially with my Lieutenant hungry on 4 wounds.
The Aggressor got a lucky 6 on his advance roll and has sprinted, however that's possible in graphics armor, don't ask me, but he sprinted, crossed the gap in the building. He's out of line of sight of the Eradicators at this time being, but he does have line of sight on the Intercessors up on the hill from the gaps in the windows. Lieutenant has shifted over a bit as well, so that he's in range of the Intercessors to get that Bellicos spot rifle involved. And finally, the Impulsor has fallen back onto the objective, because hopefully if I can kill your troops choices, I've got half a chance of securing this game. So if I can deny you any primary points going into your final turn, that would be huge.
Yes, it will be. I have 1 CP left as well, so I could be janky and force
saves and
force my feel no pain down to a 5,
which
could save me the game. So we'll have to see what happens. So Harry's going to do his shooting, then we'll come back and see what is remaining. Okay, so what you're looking at is the fruition of all the shooting that Harry just did. 1 Intercessor, which came from a very wounded Impulsor. Everything else that should have absolutely obliterated me
completely whiffed.
Yeah.
Lieutenant missed. The Aggressor fell to wound.
Yeah.
I spent 1 CP on Martial Precision to automatically hit a crack rocket. In then typical Harry fashion, I rolled a 1 to wound.
Yeah. And even the Sergeant left down here didn't want to really shoot anyone.
No.
So, yeah.
It's probably a good thing that the Captain can't see anyone, because he'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, I think he would be as well. Okay, we're going to go into turn 5 for the Astral Claws. Probably see what happens. I'm not going to promise anything, because last time I did that, I whiffed the entire phase. So we're going to hope something, but that's it. So we'll...
For a game that was looking very downhill for me, turn 2, it's actually becoming a very close game.
Yeah, my super whiff pulled it back into fruition for you, and some good tactics.
My whiff now
was potentially just cost you the game.
Because the idea, everyone, was that with everyone shooting at that squad of Intercessors, if they had done their job and just died, that would have not only stopped Tom scoring any primary points, because at the moment that is his only objective he's capping, it would have also got rid of his only banner as well. So that would have denied you 6 points. Hasn't quite worked like that though, unfortunately.
No. So yeah, so going to turn 5, and we will see what I come up with, and we'll come back after movement and shooting, because there isn't much to do, and we'll see where we are at. Alright, so, end of my turn, I did exactly what I needed to do. Eradicators, blasted off the one Aggressor left. My Lieutenant Volkited the Sergeant in the face, execution style. The Duodrea actually did bits. It shot its autocannons at the Impulsor and killed it, and the missiles and a heavy bolters killed the Lieutenant downfield. But then we totaled up points.
So at the end of Tom's turn, he had 5 points. I'm not trying not to be too happy with this. He had 5 points for holding his home objective, because at the point in time the Intercessor was stopping Tom capping the objective in the ruin, and he had 1 point for 1 point starting turn for banners and 5 points. So that gave him 6 points. End of your turn, you have a bonus point for your banner, because at this point I can't really do much else, neither do I really want to do much else. So at the end, alongside painting score, that puts you at 52 points, Tom. We then had a totaled up of my objectives. I only got 5 points this turn, because I've got the captain holding this objective, but I had 2 banners, so that scored me 7 points. And then at the end of the game, I scored another 2 points for holding these 2 banners. So in the end, it was, alongside painting score, was 52 points for Tom, 56 points to the Ultramarines, and Tom shaking his head right. You can't see it, but we were looking at it. I had to I double checked my maths and everything like that on the Excel document, and the Ultramarines have eked out a win when they've got their faces absolutely bashed in. It's just.
But that does just show for 9th, you play your objectives, you hold on to everything you can get, even if they are absolutely annihilating you, you can still pull out a victory. So fair play, mate. Like, to be honest, you held your objectives, you got me off one of mine. I wasn't able to react quick enough.
Interesting. It was a turn you would have comfortably won this if that Intercessor Squad had not gone after your home objective.
Yeah. If I had blown up the Impulsor when I needed to blow it up, and they all would have jumped out, I would have just jumped on them, and they wouldn't have made it much further. So, but yeah, that just shows like anything can happen in these games. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. So yeah, end of the game. That was one heck of a game for me, to be honest. My whiff kind of cost me it, but hey.
I'm not sure it did actually in the end, because yeah, it stopped you killing the Impulsor, but the Impulsor actually in the end didn't do masses because everything else in the army failed to kill those 3 Intercessors. If they killed the 3 Intercessors, then it would have probably cost you the game. But the other Intercessors, there probably wouldn't have been as many of them, but they would have still got onto your home objective and the charged librarian. I think it's. To be honest, I think it's the fact that I took out your mobility and tied it down really, really quickly. Because once you got rid of your Assault Marines, everything else is actually quite slow in your army, and I still have the Impulsors just ping up the board.
True, and for me, the Dreadnought, literally MVP.
Oh god, yeah.
Easily. Especially once I discovered the being able to put them back into Devastator, which isn't moving back, it just puts that
it's kind of like a squad doctrine for the Ultramarine sort of version.
So that's pretty nasty. I think that would, for a lot of Iron Hands players, definitely be something to be looking at.
But I'd say it's definitely to do with the fact that you could go back into the Devastator doctrine that really helped it, because there was one. We were both saying earlier that it was the one turn that Tom didn't do it. It didn't do masses, but having the AP- turn, the bolters and the autocannons really turned up the pain.
But overall, a brilliant match. Like, fair play for winning, mate. I'd happily shake your hand, but everything stops us from doing that nowadays. But yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. It's great to be back. I'll be back more than normal, as much as I used to be. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We've just hit over 500 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
Thank you.
Like, big thank you for all the guys that have subscribed. I personally never think I would have got over 100, but It's pretty crazy. The Instagram's nearly up to 1,000 as well, which is crazy. You also make sure to check Harry out on Instagram because his detailed photos of his miniatures are absolutely unbelievable. So make sure to check him out because there will be my Blood Angels appearing at some point.
We'll get that.
Yeah, slowly but surely. But so yeah, so make sure to stick around. There will be weekly bat reps coming up. If you've got any suggestions or if you want to come down, give us a message on Instagram and we'll try and arrange it for you. Definitely, because having our own little private space means that we can try and,
For the time being, yes.
try and sort something. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and we'll catch you soon.
Take care.